Greetings, fellow comrades. Dre here with another World of Warcraft video. It's been on your mind one way or another. Whether you're thinking about returning to WoW or starting your adventure for the first time, World of Warcraft is an immense game over 20 years old, and it can feel overwhelming to touch a game with that much history. But I promise you, it's actually pretty easy. This first section is for all you returning players. If you're new and you want to see what that looks like, I will have chapter markers in the video indicating where to skip to. With World of Warcraft's most recent patch back on December 2nd, they have added a catch-up guided experience to help you jump back into the game and reteach you some of the small mechanics. If, however, you left off in the War Within campaign, you will get a shorter version called Rise of the Red Dawn, and it'll be available in your quest journal. Starting the catch-up quest by accepting it will transport you to the Arathi Highlands, where you will get to speak to Jaina and Thrall about the ongoing situation there. You get to do a few short quests, culminating with the confrontation with Mr. Ogre, and you will have completed the initial catch-up quests. You will then be introduced to the Dragon Isles for a more seamless story experience going right into the War Within. If you want other ways of leveling, like for example revisiting old zones, you can head over to Chromie and start your time walking quests, where you get to choose the expansion experience you want. Alternatively, if you want to experience something fresh and new, Legion Remix is going on and is a fun and rewarding way to level up any character if you want to start over. Just select Create Character and select Time Runner section. You can then convert this character to a standard character once you're done by selecting the hourglass next to their name. You will get a small warning letting you know you'll lose access to the Legion Remix once you do this. One last thing I want to show returning adventurers is lore walking quests. Cho from Pandaland will give you an assortment of quests letting you play iconic characters from Warcraft's storied history to give you context on events happening in the game. I highly recommend trying this out. Now, on to new players. If you're starting your brand new adventure in WoW, first, congratulations for becoming part of Warcraft's history. Secondly, hold on to your britches, you're in for a wild ride if you let it. First things first, of course, creating that new character. At the beginning, certain classes and races will be locked, but fear not, they can be unlocked by playing the story and will actually do so pretty fast. After fine-tuning your dazzling looks and swag, you will hit enter and be given a choice on where to start your experience. To the left is Exile's Reach. This is a new streamlined version of the starting WoW experience and the one I highly recommend you to try. The one on the right is your race's starting area and is the old set of starter quests. This guide will assume you have selected Exile's Reach. After locking in your choice, you will be thrown into the bow of a ship as a fresh-raced recruit and taught the basics of moving and fighting. Before you do anything else, however, I highly recommend you go into the options and adjust a few things. First things first, you might be greeted with the Movement Control Scheme option, Legacy and Modern. What this basically means is, if you want to turn your character with A and D, or make them strafe. Strafing is walking side to side. It's also important to remember that going backwards on the modern setting will have you backstep instead of walking backwards on the legacy system. I highly recommend choosing modern, as this is the optimal way of fighting. But once you get used to the game, you can switch it by binding the A and D keys to turn left and right for out of combat events like Housing Later. Next up in your options that I suggest you take a look at is the auto loot option. I highly suggest turning this on as it will make looting and your life easier. Once you get a few bags, I also recommend turning on the Combine All Bags function. This will make it so you don't have to sift through every bag you own to find something you looted. Last but not least, before we move on from the options, is the Edit UI. You can move various sections of the screen around or even make it smaller and larger. Now, on to the rest of the new player experience. This series of quests will take you all the way to level 10 in Exile's Reach and give you a decent set of starting gear and knowledge about the game. After that, you will be introduced to the Dragon Isles quests, where you get caught up with everybody story-wise and level-wise. Once you've gotten a little acquainted with the game, you can start collecting mounts, cosmetics to make your gear look awesome, and even try different specs for your class. Tired of healing? No worries, just choose a different spec and try out DPS. I'm not a crafting expert, and the things that go into crafting is quite intense, so I may cover that in another video if there's enough interest for it. But for now, I hope this small guide helped you out. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and questions, and until next time, Dreas out.